02 is riding an aircraft and says she wants to take a bath. At Ceresis, Hiro, a dropout pilot cadet, sits in a nearby forest, wondering about his future as a pilot. As the plane lands, Nana tells the doctor that 02 is missing, much to the annoyance of her partner. Later, Hiro wanders through a forest with a lake and notices a naked girl in the lake, much to his shock. She disappears under the water and doesn't come back after a moment passes, causing Hiro to believe she's drowned. He runs into the water to attempt to save her. 02 suddenly comes out of the water with a fish in her mouth, shocking Hiro with her nakedness. She curiously leans in and sniffs Hiro, much to his confusion. While leaving, 02 admits she has taken a liking to him and asks if he is interested in becoming her darling. Before Hiro can answer, security escorts 02 away. Hiro asks for her name, to which she responds that her code is 002. But everyone calls her Hiro recalls when he and Naomi took their capacity test. The rest of the team stood by, and it was announced Hiro and Naomi were unable to pilot because of compatibility issues. Suddenly, a Klaxosaur emerges and attacks the base, causing Hiro to separate from Naomi. Hiro walks through the area and finds 02, trying to pilot her Franxx call Strelitzia on her omens her partner died. Unable to let her fight alone, he makes his decision and requests 02 to let him pilot with her. Impressed by Hiro's determination, she pulls him inside the cockpit and kisses him, causing the Strelitzia to awaken its original Iron Maiden form. Together, they easily defeat the Klaxosaur. Everyone sees 02 bring an unconscious Hiro out of the cockpit when the battle is over. Nana tells them that 02 is a former member of AP's Special Defense Forces and is a girl with Klaxosaur blood. Repairs are being done to damage sustained by the Klaxosaur. Hiro stands with Nana as the squad commences connecting and activating their Franxx units. Hiro says he was told he piloted Strelitzia, but he has no recollection of anything that happened after he got in. At Mistletoe, Goro tells Hiro to come in quickly to their mess hall, where they see 02 pouring honey all over her food, much to Maiku's disgust. 02 sits next to Hiro, who asks if he did pilot with her. She confirms he did and calls him Hiro's sudden capability to run a Franxx despite failing to do so. Zoram budges against Hiro and refuses to believe it. In the conference room, Hachi and Nana announce that Hiro will partake in a mock battle, and depending on how he does, will promote him to a parasite. He wanted to pilot with 02, but upon Ichigo's persistent request, he ended up participating with her. Zoram volunteers to be opponent to prove Hiro can't pilot, and somehow Meiku also agrees. After commencing the connecting phase, Delphinium manages to activate with a parasync at 100%. However, Delphinium suddenly disconnects. Ichigo asks Hiro what 02 did differently before. Hiro recalls 02 kissing him. Confused, Ichigo asks why kisses, so she covers his eyes and kisses him. After kissing, Hiro says he feels nothing, much to Ichigo's surprise and obvious disappointment. After the mock battle, 02 smugly flicks her hair as she leaves. Nana and Hachi give Squad 13 their next mission brief received from HQ. All parasites begin connecting, but Akuno and Mitsuru fail to connect because of low para capacity. The remaining units head for the mission of destroying Klaxosaurs. Ichigo and her teammates are suddenly attacked by more Klaxosaurs, which they didn't expect. Mitsuru volunteers to pilot Franxx with 02, just to humiliate Hiro. Nana and Hachi ended up allowing this because they had no other options, as Hiro is not an official parasite yet. Just in the nick of time, Strelitzia appears and kills some Klaxosaurs. Panting and enjoying the sense of great power, Mitsuru is amazed by how changing partners could make such a difference, and he knew he wasn't the problem. As he starts brutally killing Klaxosaurs, he tells 02 that he wouldn't mind becoming her official partner, to the dismay of Hiro and Akuno. 02 says that she should go all out for a bit. After the mission, 02 walks out from Strelitzia, but Mitsuru doesn't show up. Inside the cockpit, Mitsuru is gravely injured and unconscious. 02 says he isn't suited to be her darling, only Hiro is. At Mistletoe Infirmary, Mitsuru is shaking in his bed, terrified, and tells the others that 02 is a being of demons who will kill him. Hiro walks in and asks what happened with 02. Mitsuru tells him of 02 trying to completely devour him, including his blood, flesh, and soul. 02 rides in the elevator with Hachi and Nana. 02 says she wants to get out of the city, much to Nana's frustration. At Mistletoe, Hiro takes a bath and thinks about the rumor again, as the next ride will be his second. 02 appears and walks into the bath. She crosses him against the wall and asks Hero to run away with her. She tells Hero he is her only partner and nothing else matters as long as he is with her. Seeing her horns as she leans towards him, he gulps. She stops and asks if he is like the others, and if he thinks she is a monster. Before he can respond, an alarm sounds indicating the attack on the Klaxosaur. 02 wanted to pilot with Hero to kill the Klaxosaur, but armed personnel from the HQ came to bring 02 back to the front lines. As 02 walks through the hall, Hero runs to stop her and tells her that he wants to pilot with her. Upon hearing Hero's words, 02 comes back and together they board Strelitzia. They zip to where the other parasites are struggling and quickly save them. Strelitzia stabs the Klaxosaur's core, destroying it. Ceres's plantation commences kissing with Utter Plantation as Ceres's magma energy was depleting. The next day, a grand ceremony was held for parasites. All members of Squad 13 participated except 02. In mess hall, 02 happily embraces Hero. She offers a piece of honey-soaked toast to Hero and shyly eats it from her hand. Hero gives 02 a tour around Mistletoe, saying that they schedule their time for waking up, bathing, sleeping, and everything is laid out for them, such as their clothes and food. As the parasites prepare for the battle, they learn from Squad 26 that their different Franxx designs are unique to their squad. Later, Goro enters Hero's room and finds Hero clutching his chest on the floor. Goro finds Hero's chest has a blue tumor. He tries to get help only for Hero to stop him. Goro tells him to stop piloting with 02, but Hero refuses to do so, making Goro angry. Goro has trouble sleeping as Hero rides in pain. Goro goes outside and sits on a step. Sadly, he notices 02 and Ishigo walking off together. Ishigo asks that she not be too hard on Hero. 02 states that Hero decided to ride with her and possibly dying from being her partner wouldn't be a big deal. Ishigo tells 02 she isn't human and slaps her, causing her limiter to fall off. 02's eyes and horns turn red, and she angrily asks what human is to her. The next morning, 02 witnesses Hero's tumor. When he agrees to ride with her again, she happily twirls around. All Franxx units prepare for the battle. Although members of Squad 13 wonder what will become of them in this dangerous mission. The fact that Strelitzia is here with them helps them cope with the nervousness. After all the Franxx units are dispatched to the front surface of the plantations, Hachi announces that besides the Connor-class pack, they'd also detected a large, tightly packed unit. He gives 090 field command. Squad 13 will remain on standby, and he tells Strelitzia to stay back. 02 watches the battle from afar and criticizes the way Squad 13 is barely hanging there. 02 ended up fighting the Klaxosaurs, ignoring the orders. Eventually, 02 and Hero begin to disconnect. So she turns to see him panting and clutching his chest. She asks if that's all he can take. Despite the blue veins popping out of his face, Hero continues to pilot. Ichigo tells Strelitzia to go back, but Hero says it's fine. Hero launches Strelitzia into the air and lands a direct hit on top of it. The Klaxosaur stops moving, seemingly killed. Hero thinks they defeated it, but it swipes them far away and changes form again. Hero becomes unconscious and falls to the ground. 02 ended up piloting Strelitzia in stampede mode, while the rest of Squad 13 fell into despair thinking Hero had died. Hero's consciousness comes back, and he watches 02 struggling along. Unable to let her carry all the pain, Hero gathers his remaining strength and undo the effects of the tumor with his sheer will. Together, they defeat the Klaxosaur while Dr. Franxx watches the scene thinking Hero might be able to fulfill 02's wishes. Squad 13 is given a special vacation at a beach as a reward for completing the mission. Nana introduces Hero to Dr. Franxx, the creator of Franxx. She also tries introducing Hero to 9 special AP forces, but he tells her no need and he approaches Hero, saying that he's interested in him. Later, Squad 13 finds a place that appears to be an abandoned city. Zora Man notices how this city is much different from the city's adults live in now. Kokoro explores a medical office and picks up a book about childbirth. Mitsuru calls out to her and pulls her back just in time before a bookcase falls on her. As the group return to the beach, they discussed how and why past civilizations lived in and left the abandoned cities they had found. 02 answers that they abandoned it and that humans used to live on the surface, and that many cities like the one they found are around the world. Parasites receive annual gifts from Papa, as they have the liberty of requesting gifts from Papa once a year. Zorome reads up the message from Papa in which children are praised for their efforts. Goro talks with Hiro and tells him how they always wanted to be special to Ichigo, but she always carved for Hiro's affection. Goro shows him the. Next morning, Nama and Hachi give Squad 13 their next mission. Upon arriving at the battlefield, it discovered a strange Klaxosaur with tentacles. Goro and Ichigo ended up protecting Zorome and Miku. What got their Franxx captured by the Klaxosaur? Goro timely ejects Ichigo to save her in Squad 13's retreats. Later, they contacted Goro, who is fortunately alive but struck inside the Klaxosaur. Squad 13 cooperates with Strelitzia to save Goro. With Strelitzia's help, Ichigo enters the Klaxosaur to find Goro. Just when Goro is about to self-destruct the Franxx, Ichigo bursts in and together they defeat the Klaxosaur. Later, Ichigo bandages him. He asks where her hair clip is. She looks around distressed. He hands her his, and she asks if he picked it up for her. He says he wanted to give it to her, but couldn't. He even confesses his love for her, causing Ichigo to get embarrassed. Papa, the chairman of AP, holds a meeting with the 7 sages, the highest officials of AP organization after Papa. They discuss the recent activities of children and how they are progressing towards their goal of seizing the Grand Crevasse, which is the base of Klaxosaurs. Later, Nan announces that Papa has arranged medals for them which will be given to them in a ceremony held in the city, so they have to wear special clothes for the occasion. All children are happy, especially Zorome, since he admires Papa and the adults. The children marvel at the city. At the ceremony, the mayor congratulates them for their efforts. Zorome wanders alone in the city and notes that the city seems empty. He sees a person and calls out, but they walk away. Zorome tries to crawl down, but notices an adult and falls to the ground. Upon waking up, he finds that the adult who saved him is an older woman with an orange heart attached to her body. He asks her a couple of questions and is surprised to discover that all of his fantasies of living as an adult are just dreams, because adults live fabricated lives aided by machines. Later, the woman informs the officials, who then take Zorome back. In the briefing room, Ichigo reports to Nana and Hachi about their recent kill count of Klaxosaurs. They are surprised to see that Squad 13's kill count is rising steadily. As the units stand on guard, Futoshi swears to Kokoro that he will always protect her and wants to remain her partner, to which Kokoro happily agrees. Suddenly, a Klaxosaur attacks. Ichigo orders all units head out, but Mitsuru falls unconscious because of high fever. The squad talks about how Mitsuru has a frail body, as he is the only one who survived the elixir injection process. Nana suggested a partner shuffle to solve the growing tension between members of Squad 13. Hachi announces emergency protocols as a powerful Klaxosaur is approaching the plantation. Squad 13 and Astralesia head out to engage it, but it turns out to be too powerful. Moreover, Mitsuru loses connection with Kokoro. Kokoro tries to pilot in stampede mode despite knowing the dangers. Upon seeing this, Mitsuru stops her. He opens up to Kokoro and together, they defeat the Klaxosaur with Astralesia's help. Squad 13 looks out of the glass shield of mistletoe, and Ceresus travels through heavy snow. They then see the garden where they grew up as they approach it. 02 is in the library within the boarding house, looking for picture books, but to no avail. As they walk into lab, the Nines appear and say 02 must also be here for maintenance. She walks away and Nine says she's the same as always. Nana introduces the Nines as Special AP Forces. Squad 13 undergoes their tests. Later, a group of Klaxosaurs attack and Squad 13 and Astralesia end up being deployed. 02 ignores orders and violently kills the Klaxosaurs while Hiro fails to restrain her. 02 claims she was running out of time and she must kill more Klaxosaurs to become truly human, perplexing Hiro and horrifying the squad. Astralesia deactivates due to running out of power. After the battle, Hiro asks about the meaning of her words and finds her sitting alone in front of a lake. He asks her what she means about becoming human, but she refuses to answer and coldly says he is nothing but her fodder. On the other hand, Ichigo eavesdrops Nana and Hachi's conversation in which they were talking about how Hiro will soon undergo a genetic mutation process due to piloting with 02, much to her horror. When the second wave of the Klaxosaurs attacks Squad 13 sorties again and 02 again turns rogue. Hiro tried to restrain her while shouting that she couldn't become human in this way. Hiro is attacked by 02, who begins strangling him. She says she will become human and find her darling from before. He deeply connects to her consciousness and receives visions of a past long forgotten about him and 02 meeting as children. As a child, it shackled 02 wonders where she is, though until then it never crossed her mind. She was trapped in her room for as long as she could remember. When someone enters, 02 says she was probably a stand-in mother. She would bring her food and pet her head. One day, for the first and only time, she brought her something that wasn't food. It was a picture book that captivated 02, and she decided to treasure it. Looking out a window, Hiro also wonders who he is. They lived there to become parasites who would fight for Papa, and he screams in pain when it fires a hole into her palm, much to Hiro's horror. Outside, he notices the girl trying to get her book back from an adult. Later, Mitsuru goes off to take an elixir injection while asking Hiro to promise that he will become a parasite together with him, to which Hiro happily agrees. On the way back from the lab, Hiro again witnessed the girl getting tortured by the adults. Unable to let this tragedy go on, Hiro decided to escape the facility with her. He uses a portable searchlight to break the window on the upper floor. Though 02 is initially aggressive, she sees his tears and begins to crawl towards his outstretched hand. When they both put their weight on the branch, it breaks and they fall to the ground. Hiro loses consciousness. 02 carries Hiro through the snow. Soon, Hiro gains consciousness and together, they continue to walk in the blizzard. Hiro ended up naming her 02 as her given code is 002. Eventually, the two developed a close bond and 02 even showed him her treasured picture book. Hiro claims he will be her darling one day, to which 02 agrees and breaks into tears. However, soon the AP's soldiers corner them. Hiro tried to protect 02, but all in vain. Dr. Franxx erases memories of 02 and Hiro to Papa's order. Since that day, 02 swore to become human, no matter what she had to do, since if she were like him, they could be together. At present, Ichigo yells for Hiro to get away from 02 or he'd lose his humanity. 02 agrees because of what she is. Hiro, crying, says that she was the girl with the picture book. She looks back at him with tears in her eyes. Hiro loses consciousness while 02 realizes her horrible actions. Ichigo opens the cockpit and drags the unconscious Hiro out while cursing 02. Hiro is taken to the hospital while Nana witnesses the abnormal yellow blood cells in Hiro's body. 02 tries to meet Hiro, but Ichigo stops her from doing so while blaming her for Hiro's current condition. Hiro wakes up and is surrounded by his teammates. He asks where 02 is and Ichigo says she stopped her. They all leave, but Hiro stops Mitsuru. Hiro says he made a promise to him before getting an elixir injection. Mitsuru is surprised, but tells him it doesn't matter. It was long ago. Upon 02's persistent request, Squad 13 decided to let her meet with they take her to Hiro's room, but surprisingly, Hiro has already escaped the room. In a rage, 02 beats Squad 13 for lying, and just when she is strangling Ichigo, Hiro enters the room and is horrified to find his comrades injured. Hiro scolds her for what 02 has done and calls her a monster. She realizes the damage she'd done to him and believes this is her punishment. The next morning, 02 leaves Squad 13 to rejoin the Special AP Forces. She passes by Hiro, but doesn't say anything. Hiro is saddened to watch 02 go away and breaks into tears. Ichigo forcefully kisses Hiro while confessing her love for him, surprising Hiro. On the other hand, Goro watched the whole scene and smiled sadly. In shock, Hiro continues looking in the sky as 02's ship flies away. At Ceres' internal briefing room, Hechi explains their objective of seizing Grand Privets. As it is the main labyrinth of Klaxosaurs and Popple wants to take over, 02 continues to pilot Strelitzia in stampede mode, while Hiro sadly watches from the control room. Upon making up his mind, Hiro takes a training unit and heads for the battlefield to reunite with 02. With Ichigo and Goro's help, Hiro and Hiro are able to get to the ship. Hiro manages to enter Strelitzia and is shocked to find 02 in a miserable state. Hiro holds 02's grown horns and tries connecting with her once more and gets to experience his past forgotten memories, and how 02 refused to let go of their memories despite being brainwashed several times. 02's horns break and Hiro hugs her. Hiro says they can see the world together and kisses 02 as she cries. Strelitzia attacks and transforms into a red version of it, easily taking out the Klaxosaur. Upon watching this, AP7 Sage happily announces that the gate to Grand Privets is opened. Inside the mountain Klaxosaur, they find its central part is a collective mass of cores. A large Klaxosaur handsomely shoots up from the ground. Nines laughs and says that it reacted quickly. It smashes a majority of Plantation XII, leaving Mistletoe in ruins, At Cosmos, one of the 7 sages says their parasite reserves had dwindled to 60% after the last battle. Another asks if they didn't go too far blowing those plantations up. The vice chairman says that the end justifies the means. Humanity now has control of the Grand Crivets. He says Spring Morning's construction has entered the final phase. Papa says he sent 2 messengers, which will likely be their final warning to the Klaxosaurs. One says that there is no need for 2 keys. On the other hand, Squad Xi continues to live in mistletoeing, which is in the adults abandon them, leaving the children to survive on their own. Squad Xi divides tasks and tries to live on with the remaining resources. At Greenhouse, Mitsuru asks Kokoro to cut his hair, to which she agrees. She even ends up kissing him, and upon realizing her action, she leaves in embarrassment. 02 reminisced about when she was little. She met Hiro and wanted to have something beautiful with him. 02 realizes that's what it means to be human. Suddenly, she hears a Klaxosaur scream. As the screaming continues, we see the Klaxosaur princess waiting for something. Nanes visits Squads Xi on Papa's order to check up on them. Ichigo is surprised to hear that all the surviving squads have been gathered in one place and sadly asks why they were the only ones left out. Nanes says that it wasn't what Papa wanted and that Hachi and Nana should have told them about it. 02 pushes Hiro's bangs back to reveal small blue horns poking through his forehead. She says that they've grown bigger. She thinks that they must be because he rode with her or because he drank her blood. She sadly says that she drastically altered his destiny. Later, Nanes intervenes with the childbirth book and demands an explanation from Kokoro, as she is the one who dropped it. Kokoro apologizes for not telling them all. She turns to her squad and says she wants a baby. This confuses the other parasites. One of the Nanes smiles and says that Papa had banned that. Later, it is revealed that Nana and Hachi were monitoring children on Dr. Franxx orders as he wanted to test children by leaving them to their own devices. Upon hearing Kokoro's opinion of feelings, Nana experiences a flashback that causes her immense headache. Dr. Franxx asks if Nana is useless now, and Hachi answers that he believes continuing the test will be difficult. He agrees but says he gained some intriguing data about the development of humanity's original reproductive instincts. Kokoro is distressed that her views are quite different from others and distances herself from others. Mitsuru rushes after her and upon finding her in an abandoned room, tries to console her. Mitsuru confesses and pulls Kokoro close to himself and kisses her. In a blue volcano, Lemur and Tarsier go down an escalator. They approach 001 and Lemur tells his men to lower their guns. He says that humans and Klaxosaurs have waged a war spanning close to a century and orders her to surrender. She screams and they all cover their ears but Tarsier. Tarsier hears her words and draws 2 blades, telling her to prepare to die. Lemur tells him not to, but he continues and is quickly killed. Her 2 drags go forward and kill the rest of the men. 001 descends the stairs and pushes off Tarsier's mask, revealing there's nothing under it. The next day, Squad 13 holds the wedding ceremony of Kokoro and Mitsuru. Futashi acts as a pastor and tells them to exchange rings. When they're about to kiss each other, AP forces intervene and stop them forcefully. Nines leaked this information to Papa and told him about the wedding. Later, Kokoro and Mitsuru walk through the doors and Hiro apologizes for causing them trouble by suggesting the wedding. Kokoro and Mitsuru are confused and ask what a wedding is. Everyone else is also confused and Zorum tells them about the ceremony and Goro points out their rings, but Mitsuru says those were already there before. 02 says their memories were altered just like hers and Hiro's were before. Hachi watches this nearby. Dr. Franxx, a younger Dr. Franxx, is featured. His real name is Werner Frank, and he is told by someone about AP, and the man says they want to hire him since they're impressed by his research. Upon asking, the man tells him that AP is interested in illegal cloning experiments done by him. At a building, a woman walks beside him and asks if he's Werner Frank. She says it's an honor to meet him and that she read all the papers he's published. She introduces herself as Karina Mills. AP made Dr. Werner works on achieving immortality with magma energy. With Dr. Werner's help in 2036, humanity's immortality rate exceeded 70%, and the rest were scheduled to complete their procedures within 2 years. In 2037, the first Klaxosaur was spotted, which attacked a magma extraction plant, enabling Dr. Werner to conclude that Klaxosaur are drawn towards magma energy. Upon studying the working mechanism of klaxosaurs, Dr. Werner came up with the idea of creating giant mechas, called Franxx, that would help them fight klaxosaur. In the first test trial of Franxx, many people lost their lives, including Karina. Gradually, AP discovered the measures needed to pilot Franxx effectively, and Dr. Werner created artificial children for that purpose. Dr. Werner's mad research about klaxosaurs led him to the klaxosaur princess, who turned out to be the survivor of an ancient civilization. Upon meeting her, she smelled the blood of her brethren on Dr. Werner's hands and ended up biting off one of his arms. Despite the pain, he finds himself in love with the klaxosaur princess. Back to the present, Squad 13 tells Papa to return Kokoro and Mitsuru's memories, but he refuses to do so, saying it is unnecessary information. The children refuse to cope with more missions and orders from Papa. In a flashback, Werner Frank wakes up in his hospital bed with a fistful of the klaxosaur princess hair and makes an embryo out of it. Nano's replacement explains to Squad 13 that the star entity is now under their control, and they'll be booting it up the next day. The Franxx squads are tasked with keeping all enemies away from it. Ichigo asks what the star entity is, and Mana says it's a klaxosaur weapon. Ichigo asks if it's risky, but Mana simply smiles. At Grand Crevasse, Hero 02, Dr. Franxx and Hachi go down an elevator with Strelitzia. Suddenly, one of the klaxosaur snakes breaks through the wall, but Klaxosaur Princess says she won't allow them to do what they wish with their child. Strelitzia tries to open a gate but can't. 001 catches up and pulls 02 out, saying that she's a duplicate that does not realize the invaders are using her. 001 says she isn't fit to pilot their child before throwing her out. She kisses Hiro and says he must not be an ordinary human before closing the door. 001 says she will devour him and opens the door. Dr. Franxx explains to Hachi and Squad 13 that klaxosaurs are living creatures that resulted when klaxosapiens split themselves into groups of males and females, and eventually became klaxosaurs. He further adds that the Franxx is merely an application of the klaxosaurs. Working mechanism, much to children's surprise. 001 tells her child to awaken since they're nearly there. She begins the implantation process. Papa says he was hoping it wouldn't come to this, but they have no choice. The vice chairman says they wanted to take a top-secret klaxosaur weapon to space. Papa says that if they can't have it, it can go down with the planet, and they will return to their original roles. Star Entity wakes up, and Dr. Franxx says it is beautiful. 001 says that the humans made her ugly, but it's okay. Suddenly, the klaxosaur princess is paralyzed and realizes humans have modified her child. She struggles, but Papa says it's futile. Papa says that if the klaxosaur princess took over the implantation process, they'd programmed it to explode. They say that the planet will explode and leave nothing behind. Papa says that they'll take them to eternal paradise. 02 continues to walk, staggering, and said she'll keep her promise to Hiro. Icosma's Papa and the vice chairman reveal their original identities and absorb the souls of the 7 sages while claiming to provide eternal pleasure. 001 says that VRM got her and that it's no use. Hiro asked about VRM and how long she's been alive. 001 says that it has been more than 60 million years. They inhabited Earth as an advanced civilization. One day VRM arrived. They were a mind with no physical bodies, and they wanted them to cast aside their bodies and join. During the war, they'd forged themselves into immortal weapons and evolved into klaxosaurs. By the time they fought off VRM, fighting and warfare were all that remained of their civilization, and they lost their ability to procreate. The enemy they fought off was VRM's vanguard. To prepare for their return, they went underground. The weak turned themselves into energy, and the strong combined to evolve into even stronger weapons. In the control room, 02 wakes up and announces she will rescue Hiro, and doesn't care about anything else because she and Hiro made a promise to be together forever. Squad 13 offers to clear their path, and Akuno, together with Futoshi, ends up using too much energy, causing her hair to turn gray. Upon reaching the gate, one of the klaxosaur snakes breaks through and offers help. 02 agrees and gets into the mouth of klaxosaur snake. As they arrive at Star Entity's core, 02 opens the door to Strelitzia and sees Hiro is consumed by the virus. She tries to revive him and begs him to wake up, realizing he is close to death and covered in blood. Upon witnessing the bond of 02 and Hiro, Klaxosaur Princess sacrifices her life and gives all her remaining strength to them. 02 kisses Hiro, causing Strelitzia to break free from the virus program while evolving into Strelitzia apis. Dr. Franxx is infatuated with Strelitzia apis and finds her beautiful before a rock falls on him and kills him. VIRM takes her leave and withdraws. Crimhorny begins to fly away and Strelitzia tries to stop it, but it escapes. Panting, Hero smiles and says to 02 that they did it. She doesn't respond and her face is lifeless as the last of her horns crumble. The parasites work in the fields and harvest crops to survive. They stop when Klaxosaur ships blast off into space and remember when Strelitzia did the same thing after the battle was over. Hero tries to feed 02, but she won't open her mouth. Inevis is blood oozing through her clothes and rolls up her sleeves to find a mysterious cut he can't explain. The children struggle to survive on their own as all living resources are almost gone. On the other hand, Kokoro continues to feel nauseous and falls unconscious. Later, the new Mana tells them that Kokoro is pregnant with a child. Much to Squad 13's surprise, the next day, as Maiku and Akuno tend to other parasites, Goro yells for them to come quickly. They find all their crops have withered despite following the instructions. They see a carrier ship and run to find Hachi and Nana, who is in a wheelchair. Nana and Hachi receive an email after Dr. Franxx is pointing toward a secret location. Upon checking the location, they find all rejected parasites, including Naomi and cryogenic sleep. Later, Hero realizes that 02 Mind is still connected with Strelitzia apis, and she is alone fighting the IRM's army in space, much to his horror. Hero makes up his mind and tells Squad 13 that he will be traveling to space through a Klaxosaur ship to save 02. The next morning, Hero gets ready to leave when he is met by his squad mates waiting for him, dressed in their parasite suites. They explain they have decided to go with him to rescue 02. The 3 surviving members of the Nines have also decided to go with him because they have chosen to make the battlefield their burial place. Kokoro and Hero are amazed that he and Alpha can connect, and he tells Hero that the Nines can be both stamens and pistols. But Alpha says Hero puts too much strain on his partner, and no ordinary pistol can handle that, and Nana says Alpha is not in the best shape either. Alpha asks Hero to give him a taste of what he can do and flies the Franxx in speed mode. They spot a VIRM fleet surrounding Strelitzia, and the ship accelerates and creates a shield when VIRM begins attacking. Hero and Alpha head straight into the battle, with everyone tasked with providing backup. Alpha ended up sacrificing his life to take down VIRM, while giving Hero a chance to get into Strelitzia apis. Upon reaching the cockpit, Hero witnesses a bunch of mechanical wires and recognizes them as 02. He tells the wires to devour and connects with 02 consciousness. The effects of the battle create a severe thunderstorm on Earth. Back in space, 02 tells Hero to go back as she wants him to remain human, but Hero refuses to do so, while telling her he wants to be with her even if he loses his humanity. On Earth, 02 smiles and her body turns into stone. Hero embraces her and vows never to let her go. Strelitzia evolves into the Strelitzia True Apis and eliminates the VIRM fleets. 2 satellites emerge from nearby rocks and create a warp gate. 02 explains the Klaxo sapiens created them a long time ago. She and Hero decide to enter the warp hole with the Klaxosaur bomb and leave the solar system. Hero and 02 bid farewell to their fellows while Ichigo says they better come back alive. Strelitzia enters the warp gate as Kokoro recounts how everyone has their own feelings and how beautiful Strelitzia looked, and all they can do now for Hero and 02 is pray for a happy ending. 70 days after opening the gate, Hero and 02 travel through space. Hero notes how he hasn't needed to eat and sleep since they left Earth and wonders if he is becoming a full Klaxosaur. They come across a large swarm of VIRM soldiers and proceed to wipe them out. On Earth, Squad 13 and other children continued to work hard to survive. 8 months after the gate passage, Mitsuru rushes towards Kokoro's hospital room. He finds that she has given birth to a baby girl, and he falls to his knees, overcome with shock and love for his daughter. Ikuno, together with Naomi, decided to research ways that will help Parasite overcome rapid aging disease. On the other hand, Goro leaves to search for more places with resources. In space, 02 and Hero reach the home planet of the IRM and are attacked by VIRM forces. They manage to hold him off, but Hero falls unconscious as his identity continues to fade away with time. 02 screams for help. On Earth, Mitsuru and Kokoro name their daughter Ai, which means love. As the little girls play near 02's status, children find that the statue can link them to Hero and 02 in space. They link arms and shout their thoughts. After a couple of days, more and more of the parasites begin joining. Their voices eventually reach the two. Hero wakes up as the wedding picture floats in front of him as he hears Squad 13 and the other parasites' voices and says his name. In consciousness, 02 reaches out to Hero and tells him to come with her so they can save the future of their fellow on Earth. Upon reconnecting, they take control of she professes her love to Hero, and he reciprocates. They begin pushing the bomb into the VIR's planet. Strelitzia Appa's body breaks and Strelitzia in gold color emerges out. They force themselves and the bomb into the planet, found to rewrite their own story, knowing it'll die. They profess their love to each other and vow to meet on Earth one day again as long as their souls exist. The bomb detonates, eliminating the VIR home planet and liberating all the souls held captive by the VIR, but at the cost of Hero and 02's lives. However, Papa and the Vice Chairman are still alive and vow to face them again at the peak of evolution as Papa says the VIR cannot die. Holding hands, Hero and 02's souls begin making the long trip back to Earth. 10 years later, children have grown into adults and have stopped the extraction of magma energy, causing the Earth to regain fertility and life. 1,000 years later, a child resembling Hero in hair color sits under the tree reading The Beast and the Prince. A girl who looks like 02 in terms of hair color runs past him and trips. As the boy helps the girl up, they introduce themselves, symbolizing the beginning of a new story. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to like and subscribe for more video like this.